Hey everybody, Ryan Whedon here with the Hairpreneur Show. We are on episode 7. Did you know that most podcasts don't make it past episode 7? Like that's the cutoff for when you would say most businesses fail after 3 to 5 years or something. I don't know what the exact stat is anymore, but apparently most podcasts don't get to number 7 or they don't go past number 7. So major accomplishment. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. And if you're around, I want to give you a virtual high five. Whoosh! That was me giving you guys a high five. So thank you so much for listening. Oh my gosh, I was trying to listen to my last one, the last podcast I did, episode 6, and I'm listening to it because I'm reading through my book and I'm going through the different chapters, and that was a very short episode. Thank God it was terrible. If you haven't listened to it yet, just go instead, save some time and go get my digital download or go and buy the book off Amazon for, I think it's like $27. I'll send you a signed copy. I can't remember. Maybe that's on Amazon, but regardless, that episode was terrible. But we get better as we move forward, right? So I love this podcast space. I love speaking to you, and I want to give a listener shout out right now to Workstation for Hair. And I think the owner of the salon is the one that actually wrote this. Her name is Jen. She's a friend of mine. So our friends support us in our journeys, and that's what friends are for, right? So thank you so much, Jen, for giving me 5 stars on that customer review. And you wrote, "Love these podcasts. I love how real Ryan is on these podcasts. It's so cool to see a great example of a leader in the hair industry walk the walk, not just talk the talk." Thank you so much, Jen and Workstation. If you guys haven't seen Workstation, it's this incredible salon space that you share with other hairdressers. And of course, each stylist or hairdresser has their own business within Workstation for Hair, and I've actually taught classes there before. It's an awesome space. It can transform and open up to actually host education as well, but they've also incorporated it into this just great experience for their customers and their clientele that come in. Of course, they're coming in for their individual stylist's business, but they have an area where you can go and purchase food. Stylists can go and purchase color from the back room. There is retail in there. They just started carrying the brand Free People that I know women love, that clients can browse around and shop while they're getting their hair processed. And I'm sure the stylist will end up buying some clothes there as well. You know, you're going to spill bleach all over the place sometimes. So you might need some new clothes and you might want to just walk out with something fresh. So it's very cool. And they're expanding. They're actually being able to use the model and franchise it. So very cool. Thank you so much, Jen, for being a supportive friend and a listener. And I wish you nothing but success. She's actually going to be one of our speakers at the Big Hero Conference coming up in Orlando at the end of February, at the end of this month in just a few weeks. So I can't wait to see what she has to say. She doesn't think she has much to say, which is so funny because she's just such a humble, talented entrepreneur. And I know she's going to blow everybody away and people are going to love her. They're going to want her autograph. And I'm just excited to see her shine. So let's move forward into today's lesson. Today, we are going into the Sweet Success book. Back to finish it off, we are at step 6, which is the follow-up. And again, this is back to the book, Sweet Success, How to Make 6 Figures in a Salon Suite, or as I've updated it in a digital version to be called, How to Make 6 Figures as an Independent Stylist. So if you are just joining this podcast now, I definitely suggest that you go back to number 1 and listen to all of these podcasts in order if you want to get the book narrated to you with my lovely voice. So I hope you do like the way I sound because I am going to be leading you through my book. It's a very short read, even if you purchase the book or if you read the digital download. But it's very cool. It's the tools that I use to become very successful in a short amount of time, starting from booth renting to having my own salon suite to having my own salon and then having an educational company, Masters of Balayage and Balayage Online, etc. So the book number 2 that's not out yet, that's going to be talking about the making of the mob and how Masters of Balayage came to be and what I've done to take and scale the business to the next level. But for now, we are going to continue with Sweet Success, Step 6, entitled The Follow-Up. Wait, do I say titled or entitled? Entitled, I know there's entitlement. Okay, moving on, maybe in your comments, tell me which one is right. But if you have a chance to comment below, I would love your positive feedback. If you have any questions and things you want me to cover in upcoming episodes, I want to hear from you. So let's move on to step 6, titled The Follow-Up. Here we go.
Welcome to the Hairpreneur Show. Awesome conversation that'll provide you with new insight, crazy good ideas, and proven strategies to help you build the business and life of your dreams. Now, please welcome to the stage our host, Ryan Weeden.
We start with a quote. Start by doing what's necessary, then do what's possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. By Publilius Syrus. What I'm about to tell you is one of the most important magic bullets in this book. I believe it has been one of the biggest keys to our success and ongoing 5-star reputation. We all know that a huge factor in building a name for ourselves stems from consistently delivering fantastic results with each and every client. However, following up with our own clients after their service is equally as important. In my own business, its effect has been instrumental in our quick growth and massive success. That's because there's a strategy to it. Although it's one of the easiest and most effortless things to do, sadly, most hairstylists and salons alike simply just don't do it. I've never had a follow-up from a salon or a hairstylist, and I've been to a lot over the years. What about you? You ever received a personalized follow-up from a salon receptionist or a hairstylist? If so, how did it feel? Pretty good, right? Following up with a client is definitely not a new grand idea. Many businesses already have it in place as part of their daily practice. Think about the last time you called your phone company to chat about your bill or to switch your phone plan. You probably received a computerized follow-up call asking if you'd be willing to take a quick survey to rate your customer service experience, right? Even though you probably just would hang up, like I do, you get a follow-up. The same goes for other service providers. I recently went to a doctor because I was sick. A few days later, the receptionist called me to check on how I was feeling. That was nice, I thought. I will definitely go there again because of that extra touch of service. So why don't salons and independent stylists do it regularly? Maybe they think it doesn't matter. Maybe it's because it's just one more thing to keep track of. Or maybe they're afraid of what they may hear. Our artist egos are fragile things. When someone says they're unhappy with our service, it hurts a little, sometimes a lot. Maybe we avoid following up with our clients because we don't want to hear that we weren't perfect. I think the biggest reason we don't follow up with our clients is because when they left the salon happy, we assume that they are happy. But I know you've heard before that you should never assume anything, right? There's nothing different here. Just because they were in love with their hair when they left does not mean that they are the next day when they don't have a professional styling it. That's when your client might notice that one side is a little bit longer or that one highlight may have gotten away from you and is a little bolder than the rest. But you'll never know that if you assume they are always satisfied. Personally, I've been following up with my clients since the first month I got into the hair business. To me, it just seemed like a nice thing to do, and I wanted to ensure that I was doing a satisfactory job. I still remember the very first follow-up phone call that I made. I was working at this high-end salon in Walnut Creek, California, and was eager to build my business as fast as possible. I knew that the best way to create traffic and build a reputation for myself was to deliver high-quality work and boost my referral business. This was massively important to do because I worked at a big salon, and walk-ins were distributed fairly and amongst all the stylists, so building a business would take some time. We didn't have social media, and texting wasn't a thing yet, so if we wanted to build our own business, we had to do it the old-fashioned way. We had to actually meet people and ask for referrals. Go figure. I knew I had to go find a way to get people to tell their friends about me. One way to do that, I thought, was to follow up with my clients about a day or two after their cut or color and make sure they liked my service. If they did, I would politely ask them to refer me to a friend. In this case, my new client was male and came in for a haircut. Nothing fancy, but at this salon, even simple services, they cost a pretty penny. During his service, I made sure to be at my best. I cut his hair to the best of my ability, offered exceptional customer service, thanked him, and escorted him to the front desk to check out. He seemed happy when he left, but as I said, never assume anything. The next day, I just gave him a quick courtesy call in the afternoon. I told him that I was his hairstylist and I cut his hair the day previously, and that I was following up with him to make sure he liked his haircut. Now, how do you think he responded? Exactly. He was shocked. He had never received a courtesy follow-up call for something as simple as a routine haircut. I could even feel him blushing on the other end of the line because he felt like I cared. He graciously thanked me and told me that what I was doing was a great thing. He mentioned that I should keep doing this because no one else did. He indicated that he would start doing it in his own business because of the impact he felt. And all it took was a 30-second phone call. Needless to say, not only did he become a client for life, he immediately referred several friends and family. From that point forward, I made it part of my daily routine to check in with my new clients. What I came to find out later in my career, now more than 12 years later, and since I wrote this book, now more than that, was that this habit and this simple act does so much more than just show clients that you care. So why should you follow up? 1, ensures customer satisfaction. Just because this is obvious doesn't mean that salons do it. You ever heard that common sense isn't always common practice? This is case in point right here. Checking in with clients after their service is a great way to determine whether you're doing a good job, whether what you're doing is working. Are you giving a good haircut or color service? Are your clients happy with the way your salon runs? Is there anything you can do to improve your client's visit and make it more enjoyable, professional, and memorable? 2, be memorable. By taking the time out of your daily schedule to check in, it lets people know that they're not just a number, but a person that you'd actually like to have back in your salon. Compare it to writing a letter to your grandparents or giving someone a birthday card. It's a simple gesture that means the world to the person receiving it and can quickly show that you truly care because you went that extra mile. 3, and this is a big one, avoid negative reviews. Do you remember the last time you had a bad experience at a restaurant, a car dealership, or a coffee shop? I'm sure you do, if you think about it for a minute. I bet you also told every single person you know and maybe even complained about it on Facebook. Maybe even wrote a nasty review about the business on Yelp. I bet you also did it within 2 days of having that awful experience because it was still fresh in your mind. This is why we insist, and I insist with people in my salon, that you follow up within 2 days. If a client is unhappy with the service, the sooner you can find out, the better. For example, say you follow up and they tell you that they didn't like the cut. This is when you apologize that the service didn't meet their expectations and that you'd be happy to adjust the cut ASAP. In quotes I have, never say fix because that implies you made a mistake. Same goes for color or any service. You need to find out what they were unhappy about and adjust it, or else their bad experience about your service may go viral across social media. 4, boost positive reviews. Just as quickly as your client's bad experience can put a ding on your reputation, someone's great experience might go unannounced. Why is this? Because people love to complain. We all know that. However, when you pay for a service and you are satisfied with what you got, you're a happy camper. You may even be ecstatic about your experience, but are you necessarily going to rush home and post a 5-star review on Yelp? You might tell yourself, oh, I had such a great time, I better review this person. I'm definitely going to shout them out. But how often do you actually do that? Probably less than 1%. Most happy people, after they have a great experience, they just continue on with their day. But this is when the follow-up helps you. When you find out that your client is 100% satisfied, now is your opportunity to pounce. Ask your client to take 2 minutes and say something nice about you and the service they received. This follow-up is your chance. They still may or may not do it, but it never hurts to ask. Casually remind them each time they come in. Sooner or later, they're going to feel so badly that they haven't done it yet, they might even do it during their visit. Keep asking, in a nice way, of course. It works. Now let's talk about how to follow up. Just as there is an art to coloring hair, there's an art to the follow-up. It should be done in the same way every single time with each and every client. This will ensure consistency with your experience and take the guesswork out of it so that you don't have to recreate the wheel every time. It also needs to be personal, nothing computer generated. I know there's fancy computer AI text that can do things like that now, but nothing it feels as sincere as coming from your own head. In my business, we make it a practice to follow up with every new client within 48 hours after their service. In fact, we try to do 24 hours, but every now and then we get behind, but we never miss that 48-hour mark. Anything past that is pretty much useless. That's because after a couple of days, your client has already made up their mind whether to love you or to hate you, and there's nothing you can do about it at that point. And if they don't like their haircut and they're a reviewer, you've probably already gotten that 1-star or 2-star or 3-star ding on your score. Our follow-ups are personal, prompt, and specific, and we do it via text message. It couldn't be any easier. Most people today don't even answer their phone, so why even bother calling? It's a waste of time. That's why we text. Plus, statistics are on our side. Most people respond to texts so much faster than they do phone calls. They will also be more honest with you since there is less chance of rejection. Now, in the case of clients that might have landlines, we'll follow up that way. You give them a call on their landline because you can't text, obviously. But thankfully, not many people have that anymore. Our goal in our follow-up is not to send an email or a one-way conversation. We want honest feedback, and that's why we're calling or texting. We need to know how their experience was from the beginning to the end, and if they're satisfied. Our follow-up text says something like this. Hi, Claire. Thank you for recently coming into Salon Spruce. That's the name of my salon. Just a courtesy follow-up. How are you liking your new hair? ? And then I'll write down there, I wrote Jenny from Salon Spruce. This was back when I was a one-man show, and I didn't want people to think I was a one-man show, so I just put Jenny on everything. Jenny this, Jenny that. And she did some of the reception work for us at the beginning of the Salon Suite life, but everything became from Jenny. So I was Jenny as well. Moving on. So this text, hi Claire, thank you for recently coming into Salon Spruce. Just a courtesy follow-up. There was a smiley face after that too. You gotta put the emojis in there. People love emojis, and it really shows emotion in a text. How are you liking your new hair? Jenny from Salon Spruce. This is the start of every single follow-up text conversation that we've used, and it's worked for years. I'd recommend using this simple text with the punctuation exactly as it appears. It is personable, professional, and straight to the point. It also makes it easy for the client to return a candid and honest response. Also, be sure to end the text by stating who it's from. Since Jenny does nearly all of our texting and she was doing all the booking at that time, it looks like Jenny from Salon Spruce. Using somebody else's name, maybe it's a virtual assistant, whoever it might be in your salon that actually does the follow-ups, and even if it is just yourself and you're a one-man show, it helps to separate you from the text because you're going to get a much more candid response if the person that receives the text, if your client that gets the text doesn't know they're talking straight to you and they're talking about you, which is a lot easier than saying they don't like something to your face. It's through the phone, but you know what I'm saying. So it gives us a better picture of how we can help this person and make sure that their experience is 100% satisfactory. Now, I want to give you just a word of warning here. When you're doing follow-ups, not everyone will respond saying they love their hair. We like to think that everybody walks out and they're smiling and they're happy and they love us forever, and then we wonder why they don't come back. But you gotta know that not everybody is going to say, "Oh my God, I absolutely love the color. I love the cut. You're amazing." Sometimes they're going to say they don't like it. Sometimes they're going to say, I think one side is longer than the other. I think that this color is a little too bright, or it's a little too dark, or there's a spot here. And it's going to hurt our artist ego. But that's okay. We want the truth. We want to know how we're really doing and how we can grow our business by having more satisfied customers. And even when we follow up and we find out somebody isn't happy with what we've done, that's our opportunity to make them happy, to make it satisfactory, to get them in the salon as fast as possible and adjust or correct anything that we can to possibly create a customer for life. So be nice when you respond to somebody that says they're not happy about it or the price was off or something. You have to be nice. Don't get defensive, angry, or tell a client they're wrong. Never, never, never. That is a game you will not win. The client is always right. In the game of Yelp, the client is always right even if they're wrong. You may have heard this before. I don't know if it's sunk in or not, but you are not perfect. But that's okay because nobody is. Accept it, move on, and continue to follow up for the sake of growing your business. It's worth the occasional humbling experience. Now we are on to Chapter 7, Step 7, Asking for Help. I'm just going to go ahead and knock this out so we can get this book done, so we can start diving into some crazy, awesome Hairpreneur episodes up ahead. Step 7, Asking for Help. Hiring the best is your most important task. Steve Jobs. If you've been consistently applying the principles and strategies carefully laid out for you in this book, I'm certain success will begin to find you soon enough if it hasn't already. As your business ultimately grows, so will your client roster. Your phone will ring more and your schedule will fill up. Be prepared though, because when it happens, it spreads like wildfire. Soon, your clients will be booking 2 or 3 appointments ahead just to make sure they get their favorite Saturday spot. Your Saturdays are going to go quick, guys. So be prepared to say, I'm sorry, I don't have any Saturdays for the rest of the year. That's a good feeling. It does, however, come with its challenges that you can expect. With all this new business banging on your door, you undoubtedly will become increasingly overwhelmed. Your time will become more limited. You'll be ruined by exhaustion after work, and you won't have an ounce of energy left to continue to send your follow-up texts or update your social media accounts. You might even be facing that now. Even your customer service will falter, all because you're now just too darn busy. Again, this is a good problem. Remember, not long ago, you had less than 5 clients and weren't sure how you were going to pay rent. Now you have money flying through the door. We all started from scratch somewhere and nobody wants to go back there, so let's stop now. Again, lots of business is a good thing, but how do you deal with it? How do you maintain your energy and a high level of customer service with each and every client? It's easy. You get some help. There are a couple of options. You could hire a manager. That's expensive. Well, what about an assistant? Yep, that is a great possibility, but then you may have to find yourself responsible for payroll taxes, and trust me, that is expensive, especially if you're in a state like California. Not to mention how hard it is to find a reliable assistant. Plus, maybe you just started making real money and you're not ready to jump into having an employee. Well, how about this? How about recruiting the help of a family member or a virtual assistant or a remote assistant, which is what I did in the beginning. When I first opened my salon suite, my wife Jenny, fiance at the time, offered to help me out in her spare time. Mind you, she did have a full-time job and she could really only help me out a few hours a week. But I took what I could get. Plus, I wasn't making enough money to hire a full-time professional assistant or help. In those few hours a week that she was able to help me, she returned emails, responded to text, helped me book clients, and occasionally answered the phone. Remember, at the time, I had a cell phone that was strictly for business purposes only, which I was able to leave with her during those times she was able to help me out. She could work remotely and didn't have to be at the salon. That was golden. Jenny isn't a hairstylist, nor does she ever want to be. That's besides the point though, because I didn't need another hairstylist. I needed a manager, and thankfully, that was one of her strong suits. She can manage and organize anything you put in front of her so that anyone can understand it, even me. Her few hours of help per week made all of the difference in the world. Now that you're busy, you need to ask for help. Forget hiring someone. Do that later when you can afford it. For now, ask a family member or a friend, someone you can trust and somebody that loves you, a person with your best interest at heart. With Jenny helping me, I couldn't go wrong. She's someone I could always rely on because my success is our success. Is there someone you love and trust that would be willing to offer a little bit of time each week to help you with your newfound business? There's got to be somebody. Think. If it's a family member, take them out to dinner every now and then. If it's a friend, kick them a few dollars when you have it. Regardless, find someone you trust to help out for just a little while until you can afford to hire somebody full-time. Don't forget, your talents lie in hairstyling. Try not to stray from that. The majority of your time should be spent focusing on creating beautiful hair, not answering the phone, filing taxes, rescheduling clients, and ordering inventory. That is not your expertise. Let somebody else worry about that. You worry about your business and your brand and your customer service. As my business rapidly expanded, not only was I finally able to hire an assistant, I was also making enough money so that Jenny could actually quit her job and work for our salon full-time as our social media strategist/operations manager. I understand that not everyone is lucky enough to have a boyfriend, girlfriend, or spouse that is willing and able to contribute their time to help build your brand for free. I understand that. I get it. But as I mentioned, you only need someone to start helping out a few hours a week. Beg if you have to. Whatever you can to get somebody to help out for a few hours a week. That's all. Just get the ball rolling. Plus, if you've gotten so busy now that you need help, you're probably making some decent money. Think about hiring a friend. Although you may not be ready to pay a full-time assistant or manager or some other associate, pay someone part-time and allow them to work from home. Teach them how to return texts, schedule appointments, and answer the phone. This doesn't have to be rocket science. Just get somebody to help out and do the day-to-day for you so you can focus on the client that's sitting in your chair. Trust me, this will help you. It's going to help you maintain both your sanity and exemplary customer service. Now, here are some key reasons why you need to ask for help at this stage in your business. Number 1, managing an organizational task. Most of us as stylists are artists first and business people second. That's okay. We are usually good at one or the other. Since our main goal on a daily basis is to offer our clients the best service we can provide during their visit, that's where our focus should be, at least 90% of the time. It's time to think about having someone else take over the daily tasks of answering the phone, posting on social media, booking appointments, and doing your follow-ups. Once you're booked solid 10 hours a day, you just won't have the time or the energy to manage or organize. Your energy and customer service needs to remain high. Focus on what you know and love, hair, and recruit someone else to run the business side of your salon. 2, maintain a high level of customer service. I still remember how it felt when the dominoes started to fall. My phone was dinging with newly scheduled appointments thanks to my online booking service. My days were filled with new clients, and my reputation on Yelp was soaring. I was thrilled, and I had a new energy about me. I did it. I was successful. And then the fatigue and exhaustion hit me. I was working 10 to 12 hours a day, 5 or 6 days a week. I was answering the phone, returning phone calls, scheduling, and rescheduling clients during the few breaks I'd have during the day while my clients were processing or running out to pay a meter. Unfortunately, running late for my next client became a regular occurrence. I also wasn't doing my follow-ups anymore, and my social media posts had all but stopped. Soon enough, I realized that I had lost my personal touch. I was not giving clients my best because I just didn't have the energy. I knew something had to change if I was going to maintain my sanity and get back to offering my clients the very best in customer service, the kind of service they had come to know. Finding the right help makes all of the difference in the world. When you can afford an assistant, get one. When you can't, ask a friend or a loved one to help you take some pressure off. Anything helps, trust me. Stick to your guns and be sure to consistently deliver the exemplary customer service that brought your new clients here in the first place. 3, make your brand appear bigger than it is. Appearances are everything. The bigger your brand appears, the better it makes you look. It doesn't matter if you're a solopreneur or running a single-person salon suite. If you have other people working for you or helping out on the outside, those are your people. They don't need to be physically in the salon to be part of your team. Oftentimes, I was alone working in my salon suite, but if you ask me about my team, I'll tell you. I have Jenny, my wife, running the show behind the scenes. She's our salon's operations manager and social media marketer. I have an assistant that helps me out during the week when I'm double booked. I have a graphic artist and lighting guy that I used in the past and can use again when I need something. I'll even mention my product reps. They might not be directly on my payroll, but they'll help me in any way they can because they want me to succeed, because they want to keep my account. Do you see where I'm going with this? You probably already have a team and you don't even know it. Any person or company that you pay or helps your business out, even if it's just once or part-time, they're part of your team. Now, doesn't that sound awesome? You are building a brand one step at a time. And when that time has come to recruit help, even if you are working alone all day long in a small suite, you need to let people know who's working behind the scenes. You are growing your team. Be proud of it. Post photos on your website with biographies. You are a business, not an individual anymore. Refer back to the chapter on Act Like a Business. This was in episode 1 of the Hairpreneur Show. This is your chance to let people know that you are not just a hairstylist. You are an artist, entrepreneur, and salon owner, and now you are forming your competition-crushing team. You can't call a doctor's office and speak to a doctor right away, can you? This shouldn't be any different. You're a hair doctor now. The more professional you are, the bigger your business looks from the outside. 4, Get the truth from follow-ups. An unhappy client won't always tell their stylist when their service expectations have not been met. It's awkward and feelings can be hurt. However, this same unhappy client will feel much more comfortable telling a salon manager or receptionist. For instance, if you have someone like Jenny doing your follow-ups, I guarantee you are more likely to get a truthful response than if you were directly texting the client yourself. And this is what I mentioned in the chapter just before. In this business, it is vital that we get the truth about how we are doing as professionals. If you have unhappy clients, you need to know about it. Only then can you address the issue and adjust the problem in whatever way you see fit. And that, my friends, is the end of my book, Sweet Success: How to Make Six Figures as an Independent Hairstylist. I hope you enjoyed it. That was 7 episodes leading up to the end of this book. Again, very short book. If you want to get a copy of this, you can go to our website for a signed copy, mastersofbalayage.com, and go into our shop area, and there's a place where you can actually buy a signed copy. If you want a slightly cheaper version, go to Amazon. You can get it in probably 24 hours. So, guys, thank you so much for listening. We've got some exciting episodes coming up on the Hairpreneur Show here, and I can't wait to blow your mind with them. I'm going to teach you how to scale your business, how to put your success on autopilot. I'm going to dive into the 6 levels of success, something I go into massive detail in my Growth Accelerator coaching course. And if you want to check that out, I'll give you some information in the show notes here. Yes, I'm starting show notes. Woo! I'm so excited, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Please, 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 I would absolutely love it if you could take a few minutes, just like we want to ask our clients to leave a positive recommendation for us. If you could jot something nice down in the comment section or whatever, however this podcast thing works, a nice review would be freaking fantastic. So I would love that, guys. Your support is amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Till next time, Ryan Weeden is out.
Thanks for listening to the Hairpreneur Show podcast. Go now to www.thehpshow.com to sign up and get first dibs on our weekly education directly to your inbox. Thanks again for listening. Please share the love and tell a friend about us. Till next week, you're awesome.